Hey guys, happy Sunday, right? It's a little different. No, anyways, welcome to this channel. I am India. This is my YouTube page. It's going to be dedicated to just my journey as a social worker. I am currently getting my BSW, which I will have that secured this May, and then I'll be going right into grad school. And so this page is really just to contribute to the culture, contribute to the profession, and build a community. So I'm doing this organically, which is why it's not a lot of followers, because I am actually a best-selling author. I write street fiction. I do a lot, and I have over 5,000 and some friends and stuff on Facebook. But I wanted to kind of see how I could grow this page organically, so I'm not sharing the link with like people that I know, simply to see how many people find me just off algorithm, or how you just type in social work and do I pop up, or whatever the case is. So anyway, if you are new here, welcome. I hope you like what you see, and if you like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, share the page with other people that can find the content interesting or useful. And if you are returning, hey y'all, look, we finally made it, y'all, to 18 people. Like, we was holding tight at 15. So woo, shout out to the extra 3 people that have subscribed. I am so happy to have you on my page. I hope you like it here. I hope you love it here. But anyway, this video looks a little different. Y'all know I usually start off the morning showing you my outfit of the day, which today is that. So y'all know I'm not going to Head Start with no Detroit versus everybody on. It's Sunday. I did not record anything for Head Start this week, simply because I worked at home all week. With COVID and everything, everybody was at home, and they have a lot of classrooms closed, and so it wasn't nothing for me to record, because I did work a lot of work for Head Start, but it was nothing that I felt like was worth picking up the camera for, if that makes sense. So we had a lot of meetings, just brushing up on old skills and talking about classroom reopening and that type of stuff, but nothing really major. And I didn't have an outfit to show y'all, because y'all know I just had on like some lounge wear. It was like a white shirt one day, a black shirt another day, but legit I was in like sweats and stuff, so it wasn't nothing to show. But I was out and about today, had lunch with my friend. I was like, you know what, let me pull up to the house and use my vlog this week to talk about grad school and my process for applying. So I will not reveal the name of the school I applied to, simply because I don't know if I got in yet. I'm pretty sure that I will. I mean, I'm positive, I'm optimistic, but I'll drop the name like once I do. I'll do a video about that. But I was just thinking, like, I'll take this time this week just to pop in and kind of do a story time and tell you guys about it. It's not really a story time, I guess, though, just the overview. So we'll just sit in the car and we'll chat. If y'all like that, comment. I'll do more stuff like it. But this stuff is nothing that's written down. It's simply off the top of my head, and hopefully it can help somebody. And if y'all need a more detailed video or something like that, let me know and I'll redo it. But first things first is, I would say, narrow down the schools of your choice. For me, it came down to one school. I'm not about that life of applying to multiple different schools for multiple reasons. First reason is, every application for grad school costs some money. They range from, the ones that I saw anyway, range from like $40 to like $85. And like, so if you want to apply for 4 or 5 different schools, I mean, that's a lot of money. If you got it like that, do you. Me, even if I had it like that, I'm just not gonna do it. So I just narrowed down to like one school, and this is kind of how I made that decision. So we'll talk through that. So number one is, I reviewed the website just to see like what the school offered. Did they offer advanced standing? That's most important. You would think in today's world everybody's university does that, but not everybody does. So that's number one for me. Advanced standing, if you don't know, is that if you have your bachelor's degree in social work, you can accelerate through your master's degree with a 1-year program for full-time, or you could do a 2-year part-time where normally a part-time is like 3 to 4 years, and then a regular full-time is like 2 years if you came with a degree that was in another, you know, background or whatever. But since it's the same degree essentially, or same profession, I get do accelerated. So advanced standing accelerated was number 1 for me. Number 2 is I like the online setting. Now, that is not for everybody, so you have to think about what type of student you are. If you are somebody who needs to sit in the classroom because you need structure, maybe having a flexible option like being online, that's probably not for you. So for me, I like having the flexibility of getting it in where I fit it in, because my life is already busy enough that I don't like stopping my day because I have to stop work to go to field, then I would have to stop work to fit in classes. Like, I just rather do the school stuff online. As long as the information is put into Blackboard or whatever they use, I can comprehend, or if the professor is at least accessible for me to ask clarifying questions, I'm good. Like, throw me in the pool, coach, I'm good. So but you have to think about what kind of student you are. Do you need to be in a classroom? If you need to be in a classroom, don't even waste your time going online. So for me, online was, you know, my number 2 big thing. Also, with online, some people are okay going to schools in other states, like far away, and that's cool. I mean, it's online, I guess, but then I'll be thinking like, damn, if I had to actually go, or if I wanted to attend graduation or whatever that looks like, and I'm choosing a school that's 12 hours away from me, does that make me feel comfortable? I mean, it's a minor thing, but I was like, no, let me pick something close. So I actually did choose a school in Kentucky, simply because I currently live in Ohio. So that's our neighboring state. It's not, you know, it's not too far-fetched if I actually had to go and drive to the school for any reason. I'm okay with that. The other thing that's important is finances. Like, what does it cost? What is the tuition? Because grad school tuition is kind of like astronomical. Like, I mean, school is already expensive, okay? It's expensive, but you have to look and see, you know, what your pockets can afford. I can't afford none of it, to be completely honest, but you know, you got to do what you got to do. So this program is affordable, and what I liked about the school that I chose is out-of-state tuition and in-state tuition is the same. Like, everybody, if you do online, everybody pays in-state tuition, which is the discount. And then after so many credit hours a semester, you essentially are only paying for like one set amount. Now, don't give me the line, because it's Sunday, y'all. I just had like a little mimosa with my friends, so I'm not like, I don't know, I didn't write this down. Literally, the thought just came to me after I pulled in the driveway to do this video, so I apologize for not having the details. But I want to say, if you take 4 classes, anything over 4 classes a semester, you're only paying for those 4 classes. So if you decided to take 6 classes a semester, the other 2 are technically free or whatever. They fall into the price of the first 4 or something like that, or the first 3 classes. Anything over the 3 classes, you will get free, something like that. So I mean, you know, y'all do the math. It's a savings there. Also, I like the curriculum. That is another thing. It's important. Not every grad program has the same curriculum. Like, in our first semester of field, when we would go to class on Saturdays, the professor had different schools come in and do presentations for us, and everybody's curriculum was different. And I remember one school, which is like in a rural part of like Ohio, all of their classes were like community based, like community research or rural communities and families, you know, like that type of stuff. And I mean, if that's not what you're interested in, you might not do that well in the classes, or you may do well, but you're not retaining the information because that's not what you're interested in. If you're interested in chemical dependency and you didn't take not a chemical dependency class, that might not help you. If you are interested in school social work and didn't take a school social work or a family type social work class, these classes may not help you. So you want to look at the curriculum and make sure it's something that you are interested in, because I feel like when we're in undergrad, you take a plethora of stuff because they're just trying to like give you a generalist overview. They're trying to like just cover all the bases. But when you go to grad school, you want to really hone in on what it is that you are interested in. And you don't need to just be taking classes to take classes. So make sure the curriculum is something that you are interested in, and then you'll probably do really well. Also, the school that I applied to, I appreciated that I can kind of make my own schedule, even though it's advanced standing. You don't have to start in the summertime. You could wait and start in the fall. Now, I personally would like to start in the summer just to go ahead and get some classes like off my to-do list. But people who are okay with waiting to the fall or wanted to get a couple classes for free and they wanted to take 5 or 6 classes in the semester, they may just wait to do it fall and spring and cram it all in. Whereas me, I'm like, no, let me take a couple classes in the summer. And that way, when field placement starts, I don't have as many classes for the fall and the spring semester. But it's up to you. It's a personal thing. You have to look at it and see what benefits you. Also, speaking of field placement, this was important to me, but it wasn't a deal breaker. The schools do not all find field placements for you or even have a list of field placements. You have to vet your own and essentially find your own field placement. And so that could be important for somebody who just gets overwhelmed easy and maybe you don't feel like that's something you want to do. You have to really look at that because not every grad school helps you with field placement. And this particular school that I chose, they do not provide a list for you. So you have to find your own. Now, once you get the ball rolling, they said they would be able to assist you, but hell, you got to do all the legwork. So it wasn't a deal breaker for me because I'm okay with knowing in advance that I need to find my own field placement. Gives me time to find it, first of all. And second of all, the professors at my current school, they're like, if you need help, we're still here for you. We can use our resources and help you, find somewhere. So I don't feel overwhelmed by that. But, that's me. For somebody else, it could be like, I'm not, I need to go somewhere where somebody just give me some options and I can pick 1, 2, or 3 for my choices and interview and go from there. So it just depends, on you. So those are the top things for me when thinking about a grad school. Now, the process, once I narrowed down the school that I was interested in, which again, I've only applied to the one, prayerfully I get into that one. But yeah, that's my top because it literally hit everything on my list except for, the field placement thing that I just explained. But like I said, it wasn't a big deal. So, now, once I decided, okay, this is where I want to go, I set up a phone interview with a recruiter just to kind of ask her to further break down the stuff that I had already reviewed off of their website. And she, did a very good job of explaining everything, made me feel even more comfortable with my decision to choose them. And then she emailed me everything so that I could have it, where I could physically look at it and review it. And so I talked to her probably in November, but I knew I wasn't even going to start the application process until I was on break in December, simply because when I reviewed the information, I saw that they were requiring some writing samples. Now, that's probably across the board with all the graduate programs. So, I mean, if you are a person that gets overwhelmed with writing or whatever the case is, set some time aside. And it probably is not the best thing to try to be writing papers for classes that you're taking and trying to write papers to different grad schools, especially if you're applying to more than 1 or 2, because not everybody is going to be asking for the same thing. So you could essentially be writing, 4 or 5 different writing samples because everybody's asking for different things. So you have to pay attention to that. And I just wanted to wait to a time where I didn't have anything going on. I knew I had some time off from work. I knew school, we were on break, that kind of thing. And I had time to get my thoughts together, unwind, decompress, relax a little bit, and then like I could pick up the application and just start busting stuff out as I saw fit, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I did. Like I waited till I was on break to start that process and then get it done. So it asked for a thing like, so the first writing sample was like you had to talk about an ethical dilemma that you had recently faced and like how it was resolved and how like what your takeaway from that situation is going into like your career as a social worker. So that was only 250 words. Piece of cake. Some people, that's not a piece of cake though. I mean, but I write books, like I write novels, so writing is not hard for me. Sometimes it can be hard depending on the topic. You know, you ask me to like write you a 5-page paper about the red crayon, like I might get stuck. But you know what I'm saying? Like writing isn't really challenging for me. Math and all that type of stuff, that's where I get stressed out. Them research classes, child, that's where I get stressed. But saying that to say, that 250 words, that was nothing. So I did that. And then the other writing sample was a personal statement. And then you pretty much just tell them about who you are. Like there were prompts like, you know, who are you? Brief background. What made you choose the field of social work? You know, what do you think about, you know, the injustices occurring in the world? You know, how do you plan to utilize your degree to make change in the world? And then there was questions in there like, what made you choose their university to apply to? And then in the end, you kind of just sum up like why they should choose you into their, like to accept you into their program. And that was 4 pages. So again, if you're not a writer and you need time, don't wait to the last minute and don't start that process when you have papers and all that type of shit due for school. Because what do you think you're going to put your most time and effort into? The school that you're going now, because those grades affect you now, and you might not give the grad school application all of, you know, the love and tender care that it needs, and you could drop the ball there. So I would just say set aside some dedicated time only for that when that's your only priority, if you can. If you can't, I mean, you just can't. But if you can, I would just definitely set aside some little time for that. So aside from those 2 things, it was the application, which is standard. You know, you fill in your background, the current school you went to, you know, your expected graduation date, GPA, you know, that kind of thing. Then you have to upload the transcripts. And I want to say for this program, you want to also pay attention to GPA. That could be a deal breaker for some people. I didn't really care to look at the GPA before I got the ball started, simply because I knew my GPA was okay. I mean, your girl be doing good, okay? So, no, just playing. But I think it's like overall a 3.0 in overall studies. And I want to say in your social work classes, you had to have like a 3.4, at least a 3.4. And I want to say you had to be no more than like 4 or 5 years out of your master's program. I mean, out of your bachelor's program to be accepted, without like, I don't know if you had to like appeal the board or if you had to do a regular 2-year program. Like they want, you kind of had to be current out of your bachelor's program to get into the advanced standing. I mean, you could still get accepted into the school, but just say you graduated 10 years ago, you would have to do, you know, your 1 year, or you could appeal the board, you know, and write a letter telling them why you think you would be a good candidate for advanced standing. So you just want to pay attention to that. So I did the transcripts, I did that, and then references. You had to have 2 references. One could have been personal, and the other one could have been, you know, somebody who has either dealt with you as a professor, as an advisor, or like a field supervisor. So I didn't even do a personal reference. I sent 3 actually, just because I knew it was winter break. Just like it was winter break for me, it was a winter break for them too, and somebody might have been unavailable. So I just sent 3. I sent 1 to my field supervisor, and I sent 1 to my advisor, who also is like my professor for field, and she has been my professor in many classes. And then the other reference request I sent to our director of social work, who also is a professor, and I have had her for many classes. Again, my university is small, so we see the same professors pretty much over and over. So I sent out those 3, even though it only requested 2, just because, like I said, I didn't want to, A, inconvenience somebody, or B, feel frustrated if I want them to do it now, need it now, and they might not be able to complete it until February, and they holding up my process. So I just sent it to an extra person just to be on the safe side. And that was it. Like, you sign the paper, you send it off. So I did that, and the recruiter that I initially talked to, she called me about 4 days later, told me she got it, but she said there was an issue with the unofficial transcript that I sent. So we kind of had to go through that about 4 or 5 different times because they were very specific. Like, even though I uploaded the PDF straight from my current school's website, when you do their PDF, the school's name is not on there. So then the recruiter for the grad school was like, well, why don't you just do screenshots? So then when I went and did the screenshots from my phone, that doesn't show the grades that you got in the classes or the GPA. So we had to figure out a way to capture the whole screen from the website that showed the name of my school in the search bar, showed every class, and showed the overall GPA and all the grades. And so we finally figured it out. And then she told me that it takes about 6 to 8 weeks before they make a decision, because after she gets it, it goes to a review team, and then after that review team gets it, it goes actually to another review board, and then you get a determination. So I feel good about it. Like I said, I will keep you guys posted. I also had somebody read my my writing samples, and not even a professional. It was just like, somebody just casually glanced over it for me. And then I also used Grammarly, which caught a lot of things, that I didn't catch, because sometimes, when you're writing and what you're thinking, your mind, if you're even reading it back, your mind puts the letter there that you could have missed, you know what I'm saying? Or put the word there that you could have missed. Your mind just says it when you're saying it to yourself and it's not on the page. So a fresh set of eyes definitely helps the situation. And Grammarly, which I just got hit to that last semester from a professor. So that helped a lot, because I found probably, like, I think at least 6 things that I could, and this is just like the basic version. If I probably would have did the version that I paid for it, who knows what it would have found. But I overall, I feel confident about it because I am a decent writer. But if you are not, perhaps you also want to give yourself more time for that, to have it reviewed, maybe even by a professor that you trust, or maybe another student that is good, with grammar and punctuation and that kind of thing, just to help you out. Because when you submit it, you want to give it your best shot. Also, I paid the money. It was $65. And what pissed me off, as soon as I paid the money, like 3 days later, after I submitted the application, I just get a generic random email from the school giving me a waiver on the application, which that irritated my soul, because it was $65. So again, y'all, I'm saying that to say it's costly. I mean, if you can get waivers, but think about that before y'all just willy-nilly, like, you want to go apply to multiple different schools, and everything has a cost associated with it. And then, like I said again, those writing samples, everybody is asking for something different. So essentially, if you want to apply to 3 different schools, that could be 3 different 4 to 5 page papers that you have to write. That's too much like going to school for me. Like, nope. But then some people actually use a writing sample, like you can submit like one of your assignments. Like, now if you find something like that, come across, that's like double dipping. That's good. But this wasn't like that. So anywho, guys, I'm not going to hold you. I didn't intend for this video to be this long. I'm going to get it up. I hope you had a wonderful week. I look forward to seeing you guys next week. I'll still be working from home because the classrooms are still closed. But I will make sure to pop in and at least tell you guys something, whatever happened, whatever went on. But if you like this video, now is the time to share it with other social work students or other social workers. Or other people that you think may benefit from the content or be interested in the content. Comment, talk to me, I talk back. Like, I had a whole in-depth conversation with one of my new subscribers, and we were just kind of going back and forth, and she was telling me about her journey and what she was interested in, and she gave me some suggestions. So I didn't forget that. I got that locked in here, and I wrote it down in my phone. So, you know, I will take time to do videos like that on weeks where I don't feel like I have any, you know, things to say about Phil. So, all right, guys. Well, I'm not going to hold you. Have a good rest of your weekend. Thank you again for tuning in. Be blessed.